Hello, hello, hello. Happy end of January. What is it? Tomorrow is the last day of January. So everything is in right now. All right. So we've got our monthly yoga practice focusing on back pain. We have our monthly strength practice, which is focusing on back pain. And then we had our meditation last week, and now we are here live for this Q&A session. So just in case we haven't had an opportunity to meet yet, my name is Dominique. I am the owner of Body Mind Fitness. It is a small one-woman fitness studio located in Lambeth, that is in London, Ontario. And I do all things yoga, personal training, private yoga, and pelvic health related. I also recently got a nutrition certification, which is going to be sort of the main topic that we're talking about today. So the reason that I decided to do this Q&A session is because I got a question late last night all about weight loss. And I'm going to be really honest with you here. This is not a conversation that I like to have. I personally think there is a lot to exercise, to nutrition, aside from weight loss. And I feel like, especially when we start really looking at the numbers in terms of our weight, that it can make your day and it can break your day. And there are so many factors involved with that. However, with that said, I'm kind of at this crossroads right now that because we're wrapping up January, there is a lot of emphasis on, new year, new you. And at this point, you know how I feel about that. I kind of hopped on that bandwagon of why are we still doing this? However, I also don't want anyone who is a client, a student, or you here in this Facebook group to feel like you can't come to me or I'm going to shame you for any questions you have or whatsoever. So I just wanted to kind of go over my thoughts on this, and then you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. So essentially, this person reached out to me and asked me how often they should be weighing themselves. They said they were doing it once a week. They're getting really discouraged by the numbers. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Like, we step on the scale one day, we see a number, maybe it's up, maybe it's the same, whatever. And immediately this can destroy our day. And I've been in that position before, hands down. So I totally get that. Now, here's the thing. It's, first of all, if you are going to choose to use the scale as a measurement of how you're doing in whatever goals you have set for yourself, do have a non-scale goal, or maybe a couple. I like to do this with a lot of my clients when we're talking about ways that they're going to know that they're going to achieve things. And we celebrate non-scale victories way more than we celebrate scale victories, to be honest with you. I don't weigh anybody here. I will do measurements if they request it. But again, I just feel like there's so much more to life than what the numbers are showing. So for instance, once upon a time, from my own experience, I shoveled my parents' 4-car driveway one time without needing to take a break. And this was many years ago when I first started getting into fitness. And I was so freaking proud of myself because the last time that I tried to shovel their driveway, I managed to shovel just enough room to basically pull my Volkswagen Beetle into their driveway and not be on the street. And I was like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. So that was a really exciting moment for me because it was, I'm talking like it was a little tiny square on their driveway. I think they were out of town at the time too. So I was like, I'm on my own. This is all I can do. And that to me was so freaking exciting, to the point where here we are. I mean, this was before I even started teaching, I believe, or maybe at the beginning of the teaching career, but essentially it's at least 14 years ago that this happened. And I'm still remembering that. I have celebrated when clients have told me about these massive rocks they were moving when they were doing some yard work stuff. I've actually had 2 clients talk about this specifically and how they were able to move these huge wheelbarrows full of these giant rocks and they didn't even feel winded. Those are exciting things. Getting better sleep is also very exciting, and it's more exciting if you happen to be somebody who does not get very good sleep. Also things like energy levels. That's another one that has really come up for me recently, especially since becoming a mom. I mean, I felt like my energy was just zapped in those first few years. My girls are 21 months apart, so it was just back to back, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, is this forever?" So there's just other ways to look at things. So I do highly recommend that if you choose to use the scale, please, please, please find some non-scale victories as well. Whether you're actively going looking for them or you just take a moment alongside with whenever you weigh yourself to, you know, find those things that you have been able to do successfully that you didn't think you could do before. The other thing about the scale is I have mentioned already, it is not an accurate representation of what is going on today. And that's the biggest thing for me. I work with a client who the scale is very important for them. And I have encouraged them that if they really need that as part of their fitness journey, by all means, feel free to do that. I'm not going to stand in their way. I always explain to them why I don't think it's a great idea. And the answer to this the next thing I'm going to say may actually surprise you. And I find that it can borderline be very dangerous unless we go into the right mindset. And that is with the full knowledge that there will be days that you step on the scale and it will be higher. And there are days that you're going to step on the scale and it will be lower. Okay? It's going to happen every single day. And there are things that are out of your control of why this might be happening. It could be hormone levels, it could be the fact that you didn't have enough water. Okay. It could be that you didn't have enough sleep. It could be that your stress levels are up. These are all things that, generally speaking, not in our control, right? And these are going to happen. So what I encouraged her to do is she has an iPhone. I said, take your iPhone. There's a section there that actually graphs your weight. And I said, do it every day. Do it at the same time every day so you can start to notice the trends. And alongside that, we are also working with each other with nutrition as well. I said, start to notice like what things might have come up that might have caused a rise in things, because it's not about good foods, bad foods. Okay? There are foods that are going to cause inflammation in your body as well. I can't eat gluten. I have celiac disease. I cannot go near gluten. And you will be able to tell looking at me physically, minus the part that I feel like garbage when I have been glutened, because I am inflamed all over head to toe. Head to toe, you can see that something is just off. Okay. So there are things to keep in mind about this. And then if we want to even go to, now I'm thinking of another question that came up to me recently, so I might touch on that a little bit as well. I just want to be mindful of the time as well. So if you are going to choose to use the scale, use it as just one portion, basically, of your health journey. Track it more regularly, because once a week is not a good indication of what's going on. That might be a day where you had too much salt the day before, you had too much sugar the day before, whatever the case may be. There are days where things ebb and flow and change. Maybe you're coming up on starting your period. Maybe you're coming off of your period. Maybe you have some kind of sensitivity to food that you haven't realized it yet. Keeping track of these things, journaling about them. There's a little journal thing actually, again, in the iPhone that they just introduced. Putting pen to paper, whatever it is, use it alongside other types of measurements so you can actually get an accurate representation of what is going on. And just please know, your weight will constantly fluctuate. It will change from day to day. It'll change from hour to hour. It'll change from evening to morning, and it'll change again from morning to evening. Like, it's just something that ebbs and flows constantly. But again, this is not what I'm about. I am completely through and through body positivity and just encouraging people to really appreciate where they are. And again, try to find more of those non-scale victories. But again, I felt like it was really important to address because I've been getting a lot of weight specific questions lately. And I just feel like I can't sit back and just not say anything, because at the end of the day, if you're, married to that idea of using the scale, you're just going to keep doing it, right? So, at least I want to just help you find a different way, a more effective way to use those things. But again, if there are things coming up with you about that, I do recommend that you go and seek help from a therapist who does specialize in disordered eating or eating disorders or weight management, things like that, just to make sure that you're being taken care of, like inside, outside, in the brain, in the body, everywhere. Okay. Now, the other question that I got recently that just popped into my head, this was about a week ago, and I talked to them about it to them through DMs, and they were telling me that they feel like they are getting ample amount of food throughout the day. They have multiple snacks. They cover all their meals. They're getting their proteins, their fats, their carbs. They're getting everything in. Excuse me. But typically in the evening, they end up having some kind of snack, gummies. They mentioned chips, popcorn. I'm not opposed to snacks at night. I think they're delicious. I think they're great. I love popcorn all the time, but mostly when I'm watching a movie. I love popcorn. Usually what keeps me from making popcorn is I have one of those like old school machines with like the thing that dumps, and usually I'm like, oh, it's not worth the effort. But they were describing to me that sometimes like they have this really strong craving for sugar. Sometimes they have this really strong craving for salt and or salty snacks. And there's a couple of things. So first of all, this might be habit. So it might be habit stemming from the fact that we are, you sit down, maybe like I'm going to use myself as an example. We put the kids down for bed every night around 7:30. And then my husband and I, we usually watch at least one episode of something that we're binging together on Netflix or one of the other streaming platforms. And a lot of times I want a snack. I want a snack with that. So that is habit. It's gotten to the point where I don't really think about it. It's almost like the Netflix symbol going boom, boom, goes popcorn. And that has definitely been me in the past. It's not me currently, but it's definitely been me in the past. So some of that could be a trigger, essentially. Something is triggering you that, oh, this is the time that we normally have a snack. It's time. Your brain's telling you it's time. It's time to make popcorn. The other thing that could be coming up when it's very like specific things that you're craving, if it's not like just kind of the normal snack you gravitate towards because of a certain trigger, might again surprise you. Typically, when you are craving sweets, it is actually a lack of hydration in your body. So, and you might be like, what? Hear me out for a second, okay? So your body needs more water and you are craving sugar. Now, our association with sugar in this modern day culture is gummies, fruit snacks, I don't know, chocolate, things like that. But what it actually is when your body is triggering a craving for sugar, what kind of foods give you water? Fruit. Fruit is also sweet. So we're just kind of getting our wires crossed a little bit in these cases that we're actually needing hydration. And your body's looking for a way to trigger you to drink some more water because clearly saying, hey, I'm thirsty is not working. So, okay, what's the next thing? Let's bring up a sugar craving. So they'll go ahead and have some fruit and we'll get some hydration that way. So that is where some of the sugar cravings can come from. And then on the flip side, we have salt. A lot of times when you're craving salt, it's because there is a lack of fat in your diet. Okay. So I'm not talking about body fat. I'm talking about the good fats that we need to be intaking in order to produce energy, the things we need just to live and exist in this day and age. So just a couple of things to think about there. I feel like this live was very nutrition heavy. And for those of you who are new, my apologies about that. It's not what we normally talk about here, but because I do have this certification now, I feel like there is a possibility that more and more conversations about nutrition will be coming up. So again, those are just kind of some of the questions that have been coming to me more and more recently. I really hope that all makes sense. I think this is one of the few times that I've actually I tried doing a live on nutrition yesterday on Instagram. To be honest with you, it went terribly. I'm not thrilled with it. But we got to start somewhere, right? So again, I'm so focused on talking about yoga and personal training and pelvic health that the nutrition stuff has fallen by the wayside. So bear with me a little bit as I'm trying to figure this out. And I do hope this all made sense for you, that you have some next steps to take, whatever that looks like for you. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to post them below. And thank you so much for being here, for taking time out of your day to spend it with me, to learn a little bit more about different ways that you can really get into those goals, whether it's nutrition related or even exercise related, and move through them with better tools, better strategies, and a better understanding of how our bodies work is kind of, I think, the big the big message behind this Q&A session. So again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to connecting with you again very soon. Bye for now.